So before we start working on this painting again, or I start working on this painting and showing you my progress, I want to step over here and show you supplies so that it's no longer a mystery. These are the RF pigment sticks that I've been talking to you about. You can get those at any art supply store. Pure oil, very wonderful to work with. So these are my mark making tools. This is a graphite pencil, a big one. It's really fun. You can play with it to make marks. This is the silicone bowl scraper, and you can get that at kitchen supplies or on Amazon if you must. Decided not to use Amazon very much. One of these are the paper towels that you can get where you get car supplies. Any kind of scraping tool is great when you're working with oil and cold wax. So these are just these kind of, I don't know where I got these, but somewhere, I can't remember. But anyway, you can find something like that. Anything will do to scrape. We have our baby oil, gloves. And also I wanted to show you sometimes when I need color inspiration, when I see a show, for example, I was in Paris and I saw a wonderful bacon show, and I just loved some of this color. And so I usually just have things out, just if I want some inspiration around color. So I always have something like that out, and more brayers. And if we step over here, so I'm working on this little rolling thing, and I put palette paper down on it. I put another palette paper on it, and then I have all of my paints that I just pull out of these drawers like this. It's really practical. I've learned that organization in the studio is a really important part of it. Okay, let's jump in. Hi there, this is Andrea Waddell talking to you from Petaluma, California. Welcome to my studio, and we are working on, or I am working on, this oil and cold wax painting. And it started out as an old piece of work that I didn't like anymore. It was very light, and I've added some dark layers, and I'm not thrilled with it yet. The way I work is I just keep working layer after layer after layer until I get to something that just feels like there is depth and richness and, lots of interesting variation. So again, I'm not sure where we're going, but I know that I want to start with this beautiful permanent yellow deep. This is what I told you in the last video, is sometimes I don't know where I'm gonna go, so I just grab a color and I start with that. What I can say that's not working with this painting is that it is all one tone. I mean, there's a little bit of a value change here, but really not much. It's all pretty flat. So this is, for me specifically, I like a little bit of drama. Not a little bit, I like a lot of bit of drama in my work, and especially when it comes to tone and values and darks versus lights and the drama of the juxtaposition of those two things. So I'm going to add some lights and we'll see where we're going to go. I have no idea, but I felt like doing that. So I have soaked my brayers, not for a long time, for just about 5-10 minutes in the baby oil to clean them off. They're still not totally clean. So I'm layering this on top of the iridescent gold that I was working with last time. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's Williamsburg iridescent gold. And what I'm doing is I am layering. This is a trick about getting layers to work for you, is if you layer families of colors. So I am using this yellow over gold, and I'm going to be using this Persian rose over some of these reds, and the Montressat orange over some of these. These are all families of the same color. And that is one of the tricks to layering color that seems to work pretty well. So again, like I said the last time, I'm not committed to this composition yet. So I'm just going to keep flipping the canvas around until I get to something that I like. Okay, I'm just going to, you know, at one point what you do is you just add color, and it's all about, painting is all about adding color, lifting color, adding color, lifting color, and form and shape. So that did something really nice over here. Now I like this spot. I do in. A lot of artists work with cold wax on a table. I like to work on the wall. Look at that. I'm using this, I don't know what these are called. I forgot. These things that you clean your dishes with. Great tool to lift paint. And I'm not lifting with any idea, really, a preconceived notion. This has been drying for about 2 days, but I'm just lifting just to see what happens when I do that. And if I come in here, I bring in a little bit. Add some of this. Lifting my whole palette here because I've got too much paint on it. You know, if you want to try to clean your brayer, you just have to keep rolling it out. So I got the wrong color on it by mistake, and now I'm stuck. comes a time when there's just a lot of you're going light over dark, dark over light, light over dark, dark over light. And you just keep building it up that way. Let's see what happens when I just cover the whole thing. Adding layers because I'm going to scrape them back. So I've got this beautiful. You know what's under here. Okay, so now let's work with, let's see what's behind. If we pull this, got some interesting texture behind here. Yeah, now we're getting some interesting differences in color and texture. This is too dark. Ooh, look what happened there. That's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Now we're getting somewhere. Just lifting the paint. I like this sort of very subtle nuance there of a color. Previously, I think that was one of my RF pigment sticks that I had down there on that previous layer. Now I'm starting to see, so I'm lifting just a little bit of this red here because it's too much. I really like what's going on there. And what I don't want are these lines here. I'm going to take my silicone tool and scrape this ever so slightly. And we have these that light yellow that we put down before is just showing up very subtly here. I don't want to go too far with that. I like what that is doing. This is living alone up here by itself. And that is one rule of painting that you can follow to kind of create harmony in your composition is don't let one color just sit there all by itself. You want to kind of find it again. And you can find it again in an interesting way. So we have this golden color that I started with. I've got some more of it. I'm just going to step back, find a place that might work for it. I'm going to just add some there, brighten that up a little bit. Is I've got pretty thick paint here. And so one way to start adding some texture to this, and then I'll have to wait a few days for it to dry, is you literally just lift some of the paint off, like a lot, and you just, let's see, where would this benefit? I think it might be kind of cool here. Just, some texture there. away. Nope, doesn't work. Why? Because it starts to compete with that up there. So I just pull out a brayer and I get rid of it. And we get something actually kind of interesting. Kind of a beautiful color. And I may as well finish up the color that I've got here. You know, maybe I want to do something interesting with this. Ooh. Or sometimes it's kind of interesting to get a brush. Work with a brush. You know. If you have an old here, and I'm just going to add it. A lot of people don't like to use brushes with cold wax, but I think it adds an interesting. All right, that's a little too much. Okay, that worked, except for it's right at the halfway mark. So I need to bring that up and bring it down again. Oops, too much. Literally lift everything up. Let's see what happens. This is all an exploration. You can see from my process here is I really don't know. I just keep lifting, adding, lifting. All I know is that I think this is working for the most part here. This little piece is interesting. I've kind of done something that's kind of interesting here, and it makes me want to see what happens if I pull it. First of all, that's better. This is like kind of an interesting shape. Starting to see some forms emerge. Like I see this as a rectangle, and this is starting to be a rectangle. So my composition, like something that I'm happy with, is starting to creep up, and not creep up, it's starting to emerge. And that's really something that I know as an artist, having done this for a long time, is until I start to see something that is got a little bit of depth and mystery and interesting. You know, these two, it's almost like they're two characters that they're communicating with each other. So I'm going to stop there for now. I'm going to add up maybe a few layers just to build this up a little bit more. And thanks for watching. Please press subscribe if you like this video, and that way you can see the next one and you will be in the loop.